Yes, sir. Y'all come over here. Stand back here. Please. I'm sorry, man. Please, that's good. How y'all doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Won't take it no more. Can't take it no more.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom. Everybody move in close, please.
That's distance.
Yes, social distance. I'm sorry, social distance. Yeah. Social distance. Social distance.
That's fine.
Keep social distance and moving closer.
Okay, we're about.
How you doing, lady?
Yes, 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 yes.
Please make sure as y'all are moving in closer, keep mind of social distance. If you gotta back up a little bit, do that. If you gotta spread out a little bit, do that. Put your mask on. Put your mask on. Everybody put your mask on. Please put your mask on. Please put your mask on.
All right, once again, we're about ready to get started. We have a couple of guidelines to give you. We're at the federal courthouse. We met with the U.S. Marshals about an hour ago. We can stay on the sidewalk. You can stand on the wall over there. Stand here. You cannot get on the grass. You cannot go on the steps. Other than that, we're fine. At this time, I'm going to introduce the young man that organized this rally, 18 years old, and he's going to bring you a couple of words. His name is Zyla Wilson. Zyla Wilson.
First off, I want to thank y'all for coming out. It really means a lot. But I got a message. I've been class president for the last 4 years.
All right.
And one of the things I pay attention to is what's wrong with us. What can we change and what can we do better? Okay? One of the things I paid attention to is we settle. Racism evolves and we settle for what they give us. They do a lot to us if y'all pay attention. They might not kill you every day. They might not do a lot of stuff they show on media. But in the longevity of it, they do mess y'all up. So could y'all please, I'm talking to my youth and the parents, get to them. First I want to talk with the purpose of this protest is to get to the youth, to show them that we can actually make a change. right here, what I'm seeing black, white. I see multiple races right now. I really appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all for coming out. I kind of lost my voice, so work with me. You. Okay, I understand y'all mad. I understand y'all fed up. But what the media show y'all, it ain't the way. Think about the longevity of it. Think about what time we in right now. Coronavirus. If you messed up the city, what will you come back to? Okay, yes, you want to fight for your rights, but do it the right way. Oftentimes we forget how to do it the right way. Most people don't really feel like it'll change anything. But look, this came from IG Live, Facebook Live. And I'm looking at hundreds of people right now. I want to thank everybody who helped behind the scenes. It was not just me. I cannot take full credit for this. I want to thank Mr. Steele, LaBoris, Ron, Kennedy, Delphia. It's a list of names. I can't go on. And another thing we like to do is to make other organizations. But support the organizations that are here. SCLC and NAACP, they are here. But they need you. You see what I'm saying? We need you to evolve. Yes, they did something back then, but now it's our time, okay? I need y'all to stand up for what y'all believe in. Do it the right way. Please, think about the people you still got here. Think about your future, okay?
Old schoolers step up. Old schoolers step up. Okay, young brother, go ahead.
And another thing I want to tell y'all, I'm sorry I'm reading off this, but I just wanted to go off brain. The real change is voting. A lot of stuff is okay because of the people you put, who you vote for. And that really makes a change, okay, y'all? Most of us who I see here are in 12. Please vote. Register to vote. Our president is calling us thugs. This right here, what they don't show on media, okay? Remember that, y'all. Now at this time.
This is my granddaughter.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming out. We worked really hard to put this together. Like he said, it wasn't just us. It was a force of people. We had many different committees to put this together in a few days. We did have, but yeah, I did not introduce myself. I'm Kennedy Steele Williams, and I'm just up here to introduce our speaker for the night or evening, whatever. And it is my great uncle, Dr. Charles Steele Jr.
We're gonna hold up on our uncle, my brother, for a minute. We want to recognize the local chapter president, SCLC, Dr. Paul Sanders.
God bless you. Thank you all for coming. Repeat these words after me. I will bless the Lord at all times. Now, wait a minute. A crowd this size, we can get a bit louder than that. You're louder than that at the ball game. So put your ball game voice on. I will bless the Lord at all times.
I will bless the Lord at all times.
His praise shall continually be in my mouth.
His praise shall continually be in my mouth.
My soul makes its boast in the Lord.
My soul makes its boast in the Lord.
Let the humble hear and be glad. Oh, magnify the Lord with me. Oh, magnify the Lord with me. And let us exalt his name together. Put your hands together and give God some praise. Amen. Amen. Listen, first of all, I want to thank all of you, these young people who have rallied hard to put things together, Brother Zai and all of his committee. I don't know all of them, but I thank God for all of these young people. They always say that the youth are our future, and we thank God for them being able to come and put this together. Give them a big hand. want to thank you all for being here today. As I survey the landscape of this crowd, we see a coalition of people. We see white, black, brown. We see not just one race, but we see all of us as God's children coming together. Because when we come together, we can do some powerful things. Let me share something with you real quick, and then I'm going to be done. Uh, uh, we must understand that God has brought all of us together to make a difference. If you read the scriptures, Paul says that the eye can't say to the foot, I have no need of thee. Because if I dare you to try to walk around without any feet. And when you don't have eyes, then you can't see. When you don't have hands, there's a lot of things you can't do. But when we come together, when we put all of our resources, all of our tools together, then we can make some things happen. I think we're making some things happen here in this city, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and we have to continue to work together and not work against each other. A couple of things I want to say, and then I'm out of here. First of all, when we work together, when we come together, and the reason why is because your life counts. Yeah, look at somebody and say, my life counts. All of our lives count. And when your life counts, number one, you have to look up. Tell somebody, say, look up. We look up because we get our marching orders from God. We pray and we get God to give us direction. Now, after we look up, then we stand up. Oh, y'all not with me? When we stand up, we start doing things like this. We come together and we march, and then we have to speak up. Somebody say, speak up. Sometimes it's time to say something instead of just sitting down being quiet. And after you look up, you stand up, you speak up, then it's time to shut up. Because every now and then we do too much talking and we mess around and get ourselves in trouble because we said the wrong thing. So I stopped here this afternoon. I thank God for all of you and these young people who have come just to let you know your life counts. Look at somebody and say, my life counts.
Thank you, Reverend. And now, from the local chapter NAACP, Mr. Jerry Carter.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Good evening. I want to echo sort of what my young brother, Mr. Wilson, I can't remember his first name, Zyler, said a moment ago. I'm sorry, I apologize. But he said something that was really key when he was talking about not being violent and that type of thing. And that's the way that we want to do it. But I'm going to tell you something as far as my experience with the NAACP, which next month will be 9 years I've been in this position. So I've seen a lot of young people come to me with problems. If you throw a brick through a window or do something or hurt someone or something happens out here, you may end up becoming a felon. If you end up becoming a felon, we all know that you can't vote and all this other stuff. But you can't even get a food stamp card. You can't get FEMA. You can't get a student loan. So what you've done in essence is enslaved yourself. You're a slave. You can't do anything but pay taxes. You pay taxes, but you can't get anything back out of all the hard work and taxes that you put into the system. You can't get a nickel back. So I think everyone out here has more sense than that. That doesn't sound like a good deal to me. Okay, so I want everyone out here, I'm just as upset as the next person. But we're going to do it the right way. And I'm going to tell you, it may get tougher down the road. They just arrested the other three gentlemen, or not gentlemen, but the killers this afternoon. Okay? So they charged them with aiding and abetting second-degree murder. All right? So they were there. They were just as much part of it as the killer that had his knee on Mr. Floyd's neck. So I can't say it enough. Like I said, I appreciate Mr. Wilson saying it first, but I want to say it again, especially to my young people. Please don't kill yourself. Don't shoot yourself in the foot by trying to express your rage and frustration and all this other stuff, and then end up ruining the rest of your lives. You can't do anything, nothing. All right, then I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you, Brother Carter. Representative Chris England. Representative Chris England.
Fired up. Fired up. Fired up. Ready to go. Ready to go. Ready to go. Ain't gonna take it no more. I'm overwhelmed because every night I go home, I'll look at my 11-year-old son. And when I see the video of Floyd on the ground for 9 minutes begging for his life, I don't see him. I see myself.
Yes, sir.
And I see my son.
Yes, sir.
I also see the fact that everybody who looks like me has a similar story. And I think about my son having to tell the same story. But I also think about him not making it to tell it. So, I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of this. I don't want to be here anymore. Okay? I don't want to have to come out and protest, threaten violence to be recognized and my story to be understood. Come on. We're here today so your children don't have to go through this again. That's it. We're also here so our children, both black and our white counterparts, will stop living in two different Americas. I want my son to feel confident that he can assert his constitutional rights without having to choose between his manhood and survival. And I also do not want to have to explain to my children that in America in 2020, that there are certain things that you cannot do, or certain things that you can't expect to do because of your skin color. So, this isn't necessarily about the people who look like me. I want all of my white counterparts to go home tonight. And if you've never had to have the conversation with your children about setting aside your personal dignity and integrity and your self-respect to survive, that is called white privilege. And until you can come to terms with the difference between those two things, you will not be able to solve the problems of racism, discrimination, and injustice in this country. So, we ain't doing this no more. We ain't doing it no more. We are not doing this anymore. And lastly, as many people as I see here today, when you leave here, if you haven't sat down at a computer somewhere and filled out the census to be counted, you're missing the point. Also, if I don't see all of you in November, Mr. Floyd died in vain. All of the people who have lost their lives in this struggle have died in vain. If I can't get 20 to 30 minutes out of you in November to change the people who are responsible for the situation we're in right now. If you can't vote, you cannot complain. So, I will see you in front of a computer when you fill out the census, and I damn well better see you in November to get rid of this president.
And now, Representative Artis McCampbell.
Tell them about the ancestors, the descendants. Tell them where we come from. Speak on the ancestors, descendants. What for them to be here?
Good evening.
This is a beautiful sight.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful sight. You know, we here in Tuscaloosa, we talk about Bloody Tuesday. Bloody Tuesday happened and has its origin right here in Tuscaloosa. We are talking about Floyd. But Emmett Till preceded Floyd. We're talking about Floyd. But Jimmy Lee Jackson preceded Floyd. If you haven't ever taken the time to study the historicity of the black race, how 400 years ago we did not have the choice of coming, but came because we were brought here. And people have even had the audacity to tell us, you need to go back from where you came. Let me tell you, I came from right here in Alabama called Matchaway. I don't know anything but America. So since I know nothing but America for all of us. But we have to be able to talk to each other and not talk through each other. So I'm looking forward to us sitting down and having that uncomfortable dialogue with every race, creed, color, and individual, not only here, but even those that would choose not to be here. We got to talk to them too. Their minds and their lives and their way of thinking have got to change. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're now ready for the main event. But before we get started, there is a bullhorn that's missing. So would you please, if you have the bullhorn? Okay, thank you. All right, we ready to go.
And now presenting the CEO and president of the SCLC, my uncle, Dr. Charles Steele Jr.
Thank you. Thank you, my niece. Thank you. Got some of that civil rights in her blood. My. I just want to thank all of you. This is my hometown. And I'm in Dr. King's position. And I never thought that I would get in this position. But it's because of the movement of Tuscaloosa that created the opportunity for me to go all over the world. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Black, white, green, or blue, we love you. Before I give my 3-minute talk, I want to bring the first lady of SCLC. I mean the best lady, the first lady, none other than my wife, Mrs. Kathleen Steele, a former teacher at Central High
School. Forgive my husband, he insists that I speak today. So I want to just share with you a little short story about my life. My father made me integrate Sidney Lanier High School in Montgomery, Alabama in 1967. In the 10th grade, I sat behind George Wallace Jr. in world history. When Dr. King was assassinated, the next day our black males that were in the ROTC lowered the flag to half staff and there was a riot. The next month, Governor Lurleen Wallace passed and there was another riot. When I was in those early teens, 16, 17, and 18, I thought that by the time I reached this ripe old age of 69, this would be over. But what I have to say to you young people is, it will only end if you would not allow the generational curse of racism to continue. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was my speech. I couldn't have said it any better. I want to thank the NAACP, this great leadership with the president. I want to thank SCLC, my leader here locally, Reverend Sanders, and my former president, who was a great leader in his own right, Reverend Clarence Sutton. Give him a big round of applause. And he always keep in touch with me.
No peace. No justice.
No peace. Let me say this. As president CEO of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, all around the world, people are asking for help. I want to let you know that in Dr. King's philosophy, he believed in peace and nonviolence. You young people right here today, you don't know what you're doing. And I want to thank my brother, Danny Steele. Danny is really the civil rights guy of the family. I was the scary one. I was the Uncle Tom when we was teenagers. Danny was in the movement and I was under the bed. True story. My mama said, where is that boy? It's 6 o'clock and it's nighttime. I said, Mama, I bet he's at First African Baptist Church. Food with that stuff. She said, go get that boy and bring him home. I went in First African Baptist Church and I heard those songs. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. We gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up the freedom land. And I looked over there and the Spirit got hold of me. And I looked over there and Reverend T.Y. Roger was taking the pulpit and the folks getting excited. And I was running down the aisle and I said, Daddy, Mama said she was looking for you, but it's okay. You can stay here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, that changed my life. So what am I telling you today? By your being here today, it's going to change your life. You're going to hear something. And you already heard something from these great speakers prior to my coming. But the Holy Ghost, the Spirit, will get a hold of you. And in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, this little country boy coming to lead the world in the spirit of Dr. King, I know what you can do. You can take it right here from Tuscaloosa and make a change on the whole world. And I'm asking you, will you do it? Will you do it, Tuscaloosa? I'm talking about black and white. I'm talking about doing what's right. Can't we do it? We going to start right here. And we're going to be peaceful. Fired up. I'm fired up. Fired up. Ain't going to take it no more. Let me say this, and I'm finished. There's a group of folks watching us right now. We're streaming to Seattle, Washington. When the press release and all of the other things went out, many other cities got that press release. And they say, we want to do what the young folks are doing in Tuscaloosa. When you leave Tuscaloosa, we want you to come to our cities. Denver, Colorado, Miami, Florida, Seattle, Washington. We want you to come. Now, what I want to send and convey to you today is that you can change the whole world by what is taking place. You got the NAACP, you got SCLC, you got all these other members and young students from the university and high school. Look at you. That's a beautiful, beautiful sea of rainbow. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Come on, Tuscaloosa. Come on, Tuscaloosa. We gonna change the world. But this is what, now let me just say this. I'm going to say it because Bernice King said it the other night. Bernice King said it the other night. And I say it many times in my speeches. It was law enforcement that killed Dr. King. Hello, somebody. We're talking about changing something. I ain't here to glamorize and be the president. I got to give you some information. Dr. King was not dead, shot down on the Lorraine Motel. He was still alive. And I speak in Memphis all the time, and I tell it. He was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. But because of racism, he was alive when he left Lorraine. It was conspired to what hospital he was going to. Listen to me, young folks. You ain't going to read this in your textbook. You ain't going to have folks to tell you this that know the truth because they are afraid. Let me just say it like it is. They are scared folks. They're afraid to tell the truth. When Dr. King was rolling to the emergency room at the hospital and he was shot by law enforcement, I know it's hard to take, but you need to know the truth in order to set yourself free. When they got him into the emergency room and the doctors was there, the FBI and the Memphis police. Hello, somebody. The doctor suffocated him and spat it on him and said, die in word, die. He was suffocated in the emergency room in Memphis, Tennessee. You tell me racism is not a virus, kill you quicker than COVID-19. Hello, somebody. I call it COVID 400, what black folks and brown folks going through. 400 years of this stuff. It's time to clean it up. I like what Bill Curry said the other day. Former coach at the University of Alabama, Georgia Tech, started the football team at Georgia State. Sunday's paper, he said, we missed the opportunity in the 60s. He said, but my Lord, we can't miss it in 2020. Give Bill Curry a big round of applause. That was Bill Curry. We got to wipe out racism in this country. America was founded upon racism. And it's wrong. And I thank the fair-minded thinking people of ethnicity of all backgrounds. Dr. King said the 3 ills in society are racism, poverty, and militaristic. What the president did a few hours ago when he went to the cathedral, using the military and tear gas and bumping them and shoving them. That was a military mindset. Dr. King also said America is too rich to have any poverty. We shouldn't have no poverty in America. I know what I'm talking about. I'm the president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, co-founded by Dr. King. I see folks eating out of garbage cans right in front of my business, in front of the office. Where's my chief of staff? My chief of staff. Give him a big round of applause. The Mark Liggins. Where's my membership chair? Miss Stewart, Yolanda Stewart. And she got some membership cards for y'all today, too. Can't just talk, you got to join. Where is my media person, Faye Swift? We got our media person, we got our staff here. Yeah, she way back there. Way back there. And she taking pictures all over and got one camera right here. But let me tell you this, the same staff I just introduced. We were in 6 counties in southeast Georgia last Saturday with Miss Cooper and her family, who is the mother of Ahmaud Arbery. We spent the whole day with her. She was right there with us. And I was explaining, and I'm finished, almost. I was explaining to the crowd, Every county we went in, overflowing. I was explaining, listen to me, young folks. I was explaining why they had a posse on her son. It's the reason. They were deputized, either verbally or officially. They were deputized. Ahmad was a target. I'm with his mother, and that's a strong black lady. Strong. She was right there, and she told her story. You don't know it, but in 2013, the U.S. Supreme Court gutted Section 4 and Section 5 of the 1965 Voter Rights Bill. Did you hear me? That 1965 Voter Rights Bill freed the whole world. When I go to Berlin, Germany, I go to Moscow, Russia, I go to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil and all over the world. I go to Paris, France, speaking like this. They say, still, y'all freed us because we pet them ourselves after Dr. King and the Civil Rights Movement. When Section 4 and Section 5 was gutted, it eliminated any protection from the federal government. Hello, somebody. You got to know that. Y'all don't know that. When Stacey Abrams was running for governor, and now Governor Brian Kemp, who can say did not step down from being Secretary of State, and he was counting the votes. He stayed there until 5 days before the election was over, and he was counting the votes. He said 2 for Kemp, 1 for Stacey. 2 for Kemp, nothing for Stacey. That was because you gone back to Jim Crow. You gone back to racism and segregationism. I'm here to tell you, you are not free. And what I'm telling you is that we got to get the 1965 Voter Rights Act restored. It got to be restored. Joe Biden, listen to me, Joe Biden. The first thing we want you to do when you get in office, because under the executive power of the president, he can restore the 1965 Voter Rights Act of Section 4 and Section 5. And before he gets in office, he needs to commit that to us. Don't let these folks use you no more. I don't care who they are. Last point before the last. Black folks have lost 60% of black wealth. Woo! They get you with the money. Hello, somebody. On purpose. So we don't go to the bank and get a loan, but Caucasians can. This fellow was telling me he was talking to a friend of his that was Caucasian. And he said, man, how does it feel to be a poor white? You need to come over here with me. He said, I'm almost rich. He said, would you change from being a poor white person and be black and be rich? He said, never in my life. Woo! Never in my life. I'd rather be a poor white person disrespected by my fellow colleagues or white folks than to be you who happen to be black. So what I'm saying is white privilege is real. Racism kills. Oh, I like that. I like that. So what I'm saying is that, well, yeah, somebody write that down. I forgot it already. Somebody write that down. Listen, as I go, my brother put in my coat. He got an invisible hand. I see it in his eyes. He's saying, that's enough, bro. But this is what I want you to know. Dr. King said, gather the information of the 6 steps. People all over the world, when I finish my speech, I usually give them 2 or 3. And they be ready, what's the other 3? Call me back. Let me give another speech. And I give you the remaining of the 6 steps. I'm going to give you the steps. This is something to change your life. Number one, gather information. See, reading folks can't challenge me. You can't challenge me. How many of y'all been to Moscow? See that? Let me tell you about Moscow. You can't challenge me. If I tell you anything about Moscow, you can't tell me I'm wrong. When I was there in Moscow, gather information, I went all the way to Moscow to meet with Mikhail Gorbachev. I know you folks get tired of talking about, Charles always talking about worldwide. Well, it's a person visiting you right now and you can't see him. And they worldwide, they came all the way from China. It's called COVID-19. Hello, somebody. COVID-19 came to visit you. We are in a global society now. Number one, gather information. Number two, once you get the information, educate the people. I'm educating you on racism is up to destroy not only America, but the world. Racism is a virus, and it's contagious, and it's a silent killer. Smile at me when I go to the bank, but they won't give me the loan. Woo! That's a silent killer. You're in a capitalistic society, and you ain't got no capital. That's economic slavery. You broke, and you don't have no influence. Number three, make a personal commitment for this stuff. Personal commitment. Are you willing to die? I didn't hear you. Don't be out here playing with me. I don't fool with no scared folks. You got to stand and not be afraid. Number four, you got to be able to negotiate. You can't knock down buildings and knock down walls of personal property. We was growing up, I used to beat you up all the time. But I'm sorry. Daddy said, don't try it now. As I leave you, thank you for coming. What I'm going to ask you to do is to join SCLC, local and national. I want Tuscaloosa to be the international headquarters for SCLC youth movement. Hello! Hello! You will be traveling all over the world teaching folks on the principles of Dr. King. I'd like to have it at Stillman College. Hello, somebody. I'd like to have it at Shelton State and the University of Alabama. Woo! We got it at the University of Rhode Island. We got it at Mississippi Valley State. We got it at Auburn University. My chairman of the board teaching, he's a professor at Auburn University, Dr. Bernard Lafayette, well renowned. And we got it at Emory University. Why not at Shelton, Stillman, and the University of Alabama? Hello, roll tide. We talking about we can play more than football. We can play civil rights that's serious and run some touchdowns. So I leave you with the mind set on George Floyd. Breonna out of Louisville, Kentucky, Taylor, and the family friend of mine, Ahmaud Arbery. Those three died senselessly. Those three died so we could do something. Oh, I feel the Holy Ghost now, brother. Those three died so you could have freedom. If you don't stand up for what they died for, Dr. King said, and I'm finished, silence, oh, hello somebody, silence in the face of evil is evil itself. Woo! Hello somebody, come on, come on. Hey! Silence! 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 In the face of evil is evil. Frederick Douglass said, power concedes nothing without a demand. It never has and it never will. You got to demand freedom for all God's children, black, white, green, or blue. I love you, Tuscaloosa. Let's stay fired up. Fired up. Fired up. Let's go march again. Fired up. Fired up. God bless you.
At this time, we thank Dr. Steele for that message. At this time, we want to bring up our mayor of Tuscaloosa, Mayor Walt Maddox. Yeah, he's coming. I see him. He's coming. Also, Councilman Kip Towner, are you here? Our mayor.
Tuscaloosa, I've never been more proud of you than I am tonight. Give yourself a round of applause. Some of you may remember, but in 2018, I decided to take on the challenge to run for governor. And one of the first speeches that I gave at Alabama State University was to Alabamas. And there's a quote by Winston Churchill who said, "The truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but in the end, there it is." Well, there's a truth. There are two Alabamas. And the truth is, one are for whites and one are for blacks. When you look at the economic data, when you look at the arrest data, when you look at living and environmental pollution data, the data is absolutely clear that we still today, for all the gains that we made, have had two Alabamas. But let me ask you this. We have got to do more than just marching today. If we do not translate the energy that is right here, right now, into the ballot booth, we will never expand Medicaid. We will never have universal pre-K. We will never have college education. And we will never hear the voices that need to be heard, even when you disagree with them, if you don't begin to make that challenge to get to the ballot box. So to everyone here tonight, the murder of George Floyd has called all of us to do more, to be more, and I join you in that fight. May God bless you. May God bless the city of Tuscaloosa. Thank you very much.
I just want to say, I was invited. I was invited, first of all. So if my picture gets taken, it gets taken. I'm only here for three reasons. I'm here for Kyler, I'm here for Laboris, and I'm here for Coran, Mr. Hodges. I followed these young men through much of their school years. Kyler, by the way, he was elected class president 4 straight years at Central High School. All right? This young man right here. I'm here because he invited me to be here. I was the first one to accept to be here with them. And I'm also here to show unity for the murder of George Floyd.
And now Councilperson Raven Howard, and then Councilperson Sonia McKinstry.
No justice? No peace. No justice? No peace. Right now, I am so proud of the city of Tuscaloosa. I'm proud of us standing together, and I hope we all remember this moment of unity. I hope we all remember that now is the time for us to make history and change what is going on in our country. This is the time for us to strategize and to make a plan to make sure that we never allow the injustice, this is injustice, to happen to anyone. One more time, everybody. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace.
Thank you, Councilperson Sandra McKinstry.
Hello, Black Lives Matter. I am so proud of all of you as well. We have a lot of big legends that have come and speak, and I'm just so thankful to be able to be amongst you. And you know, we hear things about "Make America Great," the mockery, okay? But if America is great, then why do we, as Black people, grinch our steering wheels when we pull it over? Because we can't breathe. You say injustice, but we can't breathe when our Black brothers and husbands and sons and fathers go out the door. But you say you're going to make America great. And we as leaders now, Black leaders, we're put here to make a difference of no racial profiling. And you have my word that being a leader here in Tuscaloosa, I'd be damned if I go for some racial profiling. So Martin Luther King said in 1963 that we have to watch out for our brothers. And we're going to either